Alrighty. Well, what, is it louder than usual?
We had a volume contest a second ago.
Okay, well, ignore those two orangutans. But anyway, good evening, everybody. Well, as always, I am your beautiful host, Billy Reed, South Africa sweetheart, coming at you live once again from the scenic U.S. University Center just down the hall from the campus, please, for another thrilling installment of Let's Talk Dinosaurs, our 12th episode, and if you're keeping track, our 3rd episode of our 2nd season here in the lovely new year of 2K19. And as always, I'm joined by these couple of spider monkeys. Please just tell them who you are in case 12 weeks in people don't already know.
I am Kirsten.
I am Charlie.
Charlie's doing his best Jeff Goldblum over here.
I'm not. What?
I mean, you kind of did the you were like, I am
not Jeff Goldblum. I know.
The bill, life cannot
life
be contained.
finds a way.
Encore.
I don't know.
Encore,
I'm not good at impersonations. I'm very sorry, guys.
Hey, Charlie, how about you and I recite the entirety of Thor Ragnarok? You can be the Grandmaster and I can be Korg.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't really like Thor Ragnarok.
What? But Korg.
Tune in Saturday.
Yeah, tune in Saturday. Real opinion. Tune in Saturday, well, on Charlie's superhero thing, where he tells people about why he's wrong about Thor Ragnarok.
Why I'm no. They don't handle their comedy well compared to serious moments.
You want to see bad MCU comedy? Go watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But anyway,
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a masterpiece.
Okay, sorry, Charlie, you're muted. And okay, so anyway,
I won't be silenced.
Okay, Kirsten's muted too. Hopefully now we can drown out Charlie. Okay, you're back. But anyway, so today we're getting back into our two-parter that we started last week. Last week we started our first installment about the ceratopsians, the first of two groups of dinosaurs who really rose to major prominence during the Cretaceous period and really went on to dominate most of the Earth. Next up here we have they really need no introduction, the tyrant lizards themselves, the tyrannosaurs, the opposite side of the coin, the carnivores that rose up alongside the herbivores, plant eaters, vegetarians, hippies, ceratopsians.
Got it. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, we talked a little bit about what makes a ceratopsian, so let's talk really quick about what makes tyrannosaurs. Well, tyrannosaurs are surprisingly diverse, especially when we get into some of the earlier ones that we're going to talk about. But basically, tyrannosaurs are theropod dinosaurs. They walk on 2 legs, have 3 toes. Every single one of them is a carnivore. Most of them have teeth that are designed to crush a bone as opposed to rip flesh with other carnivorous dinosaurs. And an interesting pattern with tyrannosaurs is the bigger the species is, the smaller their arms get. Now, another thing I want to preface before we get into this, just as last week where we didn't talk about Triceratops, we're not going to be talking about T-Rex today because I feel like we've talked about T-Rex pretty extensively. And, T-Rex is the Tyrannosaur everyone knows. T-Rex is like the overachieving cousin.
Yeah.
Just so much better than all of its other subordinates. So today we're going to shed some light on these subordinates. So anyway, Tyrannosaurs may have really gotten their big break in the Cretaceous, but they have to start from somewhere. Mm-hmm. So to open things up, let's talk about one of the earliest tyrannosaurs from the Jurassic period, the Guanlong. And if you try to tell me that name is hard to pronounce, I'm gonna come up
Guanlong.
There. Exactly.
Like
okay. Yeah, I like that.
It sounds like a Chinese restaurant, but
it
whatever.
Does. Oh, you're so right. Oh my god.
Well, anyway, the name Guanlong means crowned dragon.
I like that one.
I like it. It kind of looks like a Dilophosaurus.
Well, you see, it's actually split off from a family that was very closely related to Dilophosaurus. That's where Tyrannosaurus came from.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tyrannosaurs evolved from a family that was split off from the Dilophosaurs, the Proceratosaurids.
I think that's really cool.
Oh, Charlie's so excited. You should see the smile on his face.
We just made Charlie's life.
I'm ecstatic about this.
Dilophosaurus is only a few notches away from T-Rex.
Fear it.
Is it also a big boy?
No, it's really small. Oh, actually, it is. In the movie, it's small. In the real life, it's like the size of a horse.
Okay.
Well, Steven Spielberg made it smaller in Jurassic Park so people wouldn't confuse it with the raptors.
Gotcha.
In real life, Dilophosaurus was more about the size of the raptors in Jurassic Park. So,
Let's just do
next. And by the way, Charlie, get your Jurassic Park lore straight. Dilophosaurus spits venom, not acid.
Here's a microphone.
Oh.
Shut him
You
off.
don't mute me. I'm Dino Master. Like that dork from Aquaman, the Ocean Master. I'm the Dino Master.
That's
okay?
a cool name, and know it.
I'm gonna
You got a cool mess.
I'm gonna get me a stupid looking mask and ride a mosasaur and everything. So yeah,
I would pay to see that. Like pay to see Aquaman twice.
I'll do it. We'll make a giant paper mache mosasaur so I can just ride through the halls of IUS.
Put like one of those little kid like car things I can drive and just like the Dino Master.
No. What we'll do is we'll tie it to like a Segway, and I'll have you on the Segway, and I'll be riding on the mosasaur, and oh man, it'll be okay. But
Oh,
anyway.
man.
Screw the Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Anyway, so Guanlong was the crown dragon. That's what its name means. And this was one of the first tyrannosaurs from the late Jurassic period. Now, physically, this thing has way more in common with a raptor or a Dilophosaur than it does with T-Rex. You see, it's very small and very lightly built, very much made for speed, much like a raptor. It's only about 9 feet long and 4 feet tall. So about the size of, say, like a bicycle, maybe?
Okay.
So not the biggest of boys right here. Obviously, more than likely hunted in packs, considering it was small and built for speed like raptors. And a defining characteristic that it had among, like, compared to other tyrannosaurs would be that it had 3 claws on its hands instead of 2. The 2 claws thing came a little bit later in their evolution. But yeah, Guanlong is definitely a bit of an oddball. Like its Dilophosaur ancestors, it also had a really weird crest on its head. That's where the name Crowned Dragon comes from.
I like it. I like
cool.
it a
It's
lot.
very, very ornate.
It's not pronounced weird. It's pronounced awesome, Billy.
Huh?
It's not pronounced weird. It's pronounced awesome, Billy.
I said it's very ornate. That's nice. It's a very pretentious,
It's an
pretentious
Oxford
word.
Dictionary word.
Exactly. It's an SAT vocab word, Charlie. You better get studying.
Ooh.
Yes.
So I can get into college, guys. Hey, I didn't take the SAT.
You didn't?
I took the ACT and let me in here.
Oh, yeah. I took both of them, and I was terrible at both of them.
All right. Go Billy.
Hey, really?
And Charlie.
Thank you.
I had a good GPA, so that's how I was able to
That works.
ghost past the SAT. But anyway, so nobody really knows what the crest on its head was for, much like with the Dilophosaurs. Some scientists believe it was kind of a display thing, like it would look different.
What?
Yeah.
Don't do that ever again.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Bling. No. Sorry, Billy. Carry
Yeah,
on.
go ahead, Billy. I'm mad at Charlie.
You're fired.
Okay.
Charlie,
I'll just go cry for a
Charlie,
second.
you're the new Kirsten, even though you're the same person.
Hey guys, it's Kirsten. Let's talk about dinosaurs eating snow. Ooh.
Why is that the thing that
I did not know that.
why is that the thing that everyone talks about?
Oh my God, Billy! How do we know it actually looked like this?
Curse word.
Obscenity.
All
I'm
right.
gonna get us another warning.
Oh wow!
All
Why
right.
don't we just
wow.
move
Wow.
on?
Anyway, so back to the dino here. So an interesting thing about Guanlong is that studies on its bones suggest that they had a very short lifespan, which is actually very similar to the wolves and dogs of today. Evidence suggests that these things would have reached maturity by about the age of 5 and would have died by about the age of 12.
Okay.
So that's pretty sad. They died in their edgy middle school years.
Where's this joke?
What?
I was going to tell a bad joke. We're not going to tell a bad joke about that.
Okay, we're not going to joke about
Okay.
whatever it is.
Okay.
So anyway,
Good talk.
so yeah,
But it's not about vaccines, I promise.
Guanlong is an adorable little floofer dooferson, boople snoot,
Okay.
Okay.
majestic sea flap
I'll
flap.
take it.
I like it. I like it. The Guanlong.
Guanlong, yeah, it sounds like a
That's
Chinese
like probably the first
restaurant.
one that I've said 3 times in a row.
No, it's not.
But anyway, let's get into let's
How do you know?
let's get into another one here. This one, y'all better show up. Y'all were on the Twitters asking me to talk about this
Oh.
one. So y'all were on the Twitters talking about how I need to be talking about this
Twitter's
one.
plural.
I'll tell
You
you,
was-
boy.
you were on the
here we go.
line.
Look, Brandine and I was down there the other day, and we done read in the paper about this newfangled tweeter thing,
Thing.
like
Bang.
NASCAR, Bud Light,
You're doing
Yeah.
great.
Dukes of Hazzard reruns, Bass
You're
Pro
doing
Shop
great.
gift card, Walmart
Ooh.
parking lot.
Oh,
let
that's
me
a good
tell
one.
you.
Oh, those are good ones.
But anyway, so in all seriousness, so our next one here is the Nanotyrannus, and there is a lot to talk about with this infamous pile of bones.
All right.
So Nanotyrannus, the name means small tyrant, and it's a pretty tiny tyrannosaur, well, as far as tyrannosaurs go, from North America, much larger than Guanlong. It was about 20 feet long and about 6 feet tall, so about the size of Dilophosaurus, actually. Now here's where the controversy starts. We got a lot to talk about here.
The
So you
rumbling
see-
of the Twitter meisters.
Oh yeah, I can. And by the way, guys, we're not gonna take a stand on this one because no matter this is like a very political thing in the dinosaur fanboy
Ooh.
paleo community. Because if we take a side on this one, the
gonna
other
wreck our
half is
show.
gonna attack us.
All right.
So we're gonna remain very neutral on this. But anyway, the big
We
thing.
love you guys.
The problem with Nanotyrannus is that it shared its environment with T-Rex, which, I mean, big deal. Wolves and coyotes share the same environment, but here's the problem. So you see, the very first ever specimen of Nanotyrannus kind of sat undisturbed for a while. People just kind of accepted that it was its own species. But then one day, a pesky scientist was doing some studies and found that Nanotyrannus, at least the first specimen of it, wasn't fully grown. As a matter of fact, it was kind of a baby.
Ruh-roh.
It had a lot of growing left to do, so it's not like it was a teenage, like adolescent creature. This was a baby. So, yeah, it was ruled out pretty quickly that the very first specimen of Nanotyrannus was actually a baby T-Rex and was not its own species. So this kind of just, it rocked a little bit for a while in the scientific community. Like, people were like, oh, should it be considered its own thing, blah, blah, blah. But studies on the other bones of the other specimens we had kind of proved inconclusive as to whether or not it was a baby T-Rex or it was its own thing. Then came Jane. You see, Jane is a specimen of Nanotyrannus that was discovered alongside the original specimen. She was remarkably well preserved. Like, we could tell a lot from her. And just like the first one, Jane was not a fully grown animal. Jane was also a baby, proving that she was also a baby T-Rex. And something interesting that was found, though, is that a lot of people were saying, like, no, this can't be true because Nanotyrannus actually has longer arms than T-Rex. Like I was talking about earlier, the bigger the Tyrannosaur species, the smaller the arms. So, but here's the funny thing, though. We later on found specimens of, like, adolescent T-Rexes that would have been not quite fully grown, but not quite Nanotyrannus-sized babies, and they also had longer arms than the adults, which proved that T-Rexes their arms would have gotten shorter as they got older.
Ruh-roh.
So, as of today, Nanotyrannus is still considered its own species.
Okay.
Like, as of right now, it is still its own thing.
Whatever you're about to say,
But
Charlie, be careful.
Have you
It's
found an adult Tyrannus?
Well, we don't really have any evidence that we haven't.
That's valid. Not gonna say anything more.
Yeah. So as of today, it's a really big topic of discussion. It's a really hot topic. There are a lot of dinosaurs out there where scientists debate as to whether or not they should be their own thing or if they're just a baby of another dinosaur. But Nanotyrannus seems to be a big center of controversy because it seems ever since this thing was discovered, this has been a hot topic with it. And something that I have noticed that I didn't come across in my research, anyone pointing out, was that with Nanotyrannus, I found that its teeth are a lot sharper and more like knives than the T-Rex, which has those big, blunt, railroad spike teeth. But at the same time, a lot of baby animals have like sharper and more frail teeth than the adults, so I don't really think that adds anything either. So
But we don't know.
Look, we don't know.
We don't
don't
know.
know
We're not gonna
anything.
take a
No,
stand
we
on
don't
it.
know anything, and
Have no idea.
I'm not gonna take a stand on anything. But I'm just gonna say this
Speculation.
as of January 24th, 2019, Nanotyrannus is still considered its own species, but it remains a very hot topic of debate, and there's a lot of evidence both sides.
Okay.
So,
We're
yeah,
sorry.
All right.
we're very sorry there. We didn't mean to get political, but Nanotyrannus. What's our final thoughts on Nanotyrannus?
Are we-
Do we like
Is that
it? Do we like
Oh,
it?
I was like, oof, are we getting scandalous?
No,
here,
we're not
buddy?
getting scandalous.
I like the controversy about it. Like, I like how it's a hot topic. That's what I really like
It's
about
its
it.
own special butterfly, and I enjoy it. I'm not saying it's its own species. It's special. on
Charlie
its
thinks
own.
Nanotyrannus is its own species. Please attack him.
Actually, honestly, for saying this now.
I told you not to state your actual opinions, Charlie. Great. Now all the
He said,
all the paleo fans are gonna come after you.
Come at me, guys.
You're gonna have a bunch. You're gonna have a bunch of guys
We'll
with.
catch hands.
Gonna have a bunch of guys with beards
Catch
and
hands.
beards and
Hands,
goofy
sorry.
hats banging down your door.
Making it worse, Billy. Making it worse.
Ah,
What? That's like the first rule of being a paleontologist is you have to have a beard and a weird hat.
And a bandana around your neck.
And a bandana.
True. Okay, you're right. Sorry. Just disregard
And
my
like
thought.
it can't be like a goatee. It's got to be like a big beard.
Like if you're on like Carl Bacher level beards, you're not doing it right.
Who?
Did I say Carl Bacher?
Who's that?
I don't know. I said his name.
You mean Robert Bacher? He's a
I
paleontologist.
can't do this today, guys. Just carry on without me.
Charlie, no, don't fire
Charlie.
yourself. Charlie, come back to us. We miss you.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not your fault.
I'll turn my dinosaur card later.
But just let it be known that Charles Wolfgang Sandifer thinks that
Wolfgang.
Nanotyrannus...
It's not my last name, and that's not my opinion. Or is it? I don't know.
Sandifer's not your last name?
Gosh darn it.
Wolfgang is Charlie's middle name.
It's actually
confirmed.
Blade.
Yes. Oh,
Charles Blade Sandifer.
Is it really?
CBS, like the TV show.
Is it actually?
you thought about that.
Possibly. Research me,
I
guys.
really want to know what his middle name is.
Yeah, now I actually want to know. So,
How about this Albertosaurus
so
guy?
Charles Gordon Ramsay Sandifer.
It's Albert.
Let it be known throughout the hills, throughout the 9 realms, that Charles, Shamalama Ding Dong Sandifer, firmly believes that Nanotyrannus is its own species. And if you think otherwise, you should come at him with your torches and your pitchforks and your hairsprays with the cigarette lighters. And yeah,
All right.
Charlie's gonna get an angry dino mob.
Are you ready?
Das ist mein Nung nicht.
What?
That's not
Pecunio
language.
Alberto. It is a language. It's called German. It has over 3 million speakers.
3 billion
3
speakers.
billion million. It's got a lot of speakers. Can we just talk about Albertosaurus?
Okay, we can talk about Albertosaurus, Charlie. If that will make you
We
happy.
can't get right. I've dug my grave. I can't get out of
Oh,
it.
all the paleontologists are probably on their way here right now. They're probably out there paying for
If you-
parking as we speak.
Probably.
Oh my gosh.
It's like that scene in Beauty and the Beast, except instead of the Beast, it's Charlie, and instead of Gaston, it's some guy with a big beard and a stupid hat who's rallying an angry mob.
Billy, will you be the
Becoming
little
here.
dresser with the baseball bat behind the corner in that scene?
No,
That was a good scene.
I'm probably just gonna be one of the wolves that bit you earlier.
Eating popcorn and stuff like Michael Jackson Thriller.
But anyway, so our next Tyrannosaur for the evening, the Albertosaurus. Now we've talked a little bit about Albertosaurus before, but I feel like it warrants going back to it because everyone loves a good Albertosaurus. I mean,
Alright.
exactly.
Yeah.
And besides, last time we talked about it fighting a giant gator monster in our Fight Night episode. So,
I still think the Gator would win. That's just me.
you're getting even more political, Charlie. Oh man! So now all of our Albertosaurus stands out there are gonna come and rip you.
Crocodiles for life. They were here first. They'll be here when we leave, guys.
Alligator, Charlie.
Alligators were here first. They'll be.
And now all of our herpetologists are gonna come down here and tear you apart.
I don't
Oh
know.
my god. That was great.
Gargoyles are
Charlie.
cool. I don't know.
Gharials are cool. By the way, if anyone out there remembers our Spinosaurus episode, we still firmly support Save the Gharials. So,
Yeah, of course. Love Gargoyles.
yeah. Save the Gharials. Call your congressman. Get the government up and running again, so we can start our Save the Gharials. Like I am going to be on a plane to Washington tomorrow, so I can be out there on the steps of our
He
shutdown
has his plane ticket right in
government.
front of him,
Yep,
guys. He's
yep,
not
right
lying.
here. I've got my picket sign, my giant Gharial that I made out of paper mache.
That's it. That's all he's going with.
Save the Gharials.
Give me a better
Save the
chance.
Gharials.
Don't be terrible. Save the Gariel.
Hey,
Hey.
that's not that bad. Billy is staring in disappointment.
We're never gonna get this show done. You keep coming back to me.
Charlie, look, I'm trying to start a cause here. We got to save the Gharials. There's only 200 of them left in
With
the
a
wild.
chant like that, I don't think so.
I'm gonna have a giant paper mache gator monster. Okay, like what's? All right, Charlie, whatever.
don't
So
know.
anyway, Albertosaurus. So anyway, the name Albertosaurus means Alberta lizard because
Still not
it was
impressed, but-
discovered in Alberta, Canada. It's a
know.
little.
What
Do you
It's
have
a
against
little.
Canada?
Nothing. It's just
But you know,
I have
Canada.
fans in Canada.
Canada gave
Yeah.
us the greatest gift of all time, and that is Avril Lavigne. So
I could have finished that sentence for you, but you didn't let me. I was hoping you would.
I was gonna say Celine Dion. Actually, no, I wasn't.
I love Celine Dion.
Plot twist. That's his new crush.
Yeah, no. But anyway, so Albertosaurus is a pretty big tyrannosaur, coming in at about 30 feet long and 9 feet tall. So pretty big.
Big boy.
Yeah, large boy, very large. A colossal boy even. No, not really. Colossal boy, that's saved for only the special, the very big out there.
Yeah.
So, as with most big tyrannosaurs, Albertosaurus had a very big head. Its head was 4 feet long, makes up over 1/10 of its body length. So 1/10 of
Big
this
boy!
monstrosity's head.
Stop it.
Sorry,
We're
keep
gonna
going.
get a noise complaint. We're gonna get canceled.
Yep.
All of our fans are gonna come down here with the
With the paleontologist.
we're just gonna
With the biologist.
the herpetologist.
The herpetologist.
And the what were the other? Oh, all the Albertosaurus stands out there.
And the Canadians.
Yeah. They're coming
And
for me.
Avril Lavigne's coming. Okay,
Also
never
means
mind.
Nickelback's coming too, Billy.
Oh no. Well,
Ooh. You got a choice to make.
Charlie,
here.
hand me that lava lamp. It's time for some revenge. Don't actually do it, Charlie.
Don't move it. Don't touch it. Even though they're never on.
Yeah, everyone tweet at our station manager Matt McClellan about why he has these lava lamps in here that we're not allowed to turn on.
Yeah, I want to turn them on.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, don't actually do that. We don't want to make Matt cry. But
We love Matt.
we do. We love Matt. We love Matt.
Love
And
you,
we-
Matt.
Matt
We
gives
do
the
not.
show.
We do not question his management decisions with our lava lamps.
Matt giveth and Matt taketh away.
You right. You right. You right when you right.
I'm sorry. Okay.
But anyway, so an interesting thing about Albertosaurus is this was really the first tyrannosaur in the fossil record where we noticed something like this. But you see, Albertosaurus was heterodont, which is a big fancy word for each tooth in its mouth was shaped a little bit differently and more than likely served a different purpose. So
Is
those
that the
different
actual?
purposes.
Wait, I missed the actual meaning of what you just said,
You
and it
zone
was just
out?
a long sentence. I was like, wait.
Okay, allow me to start over.
Okay.
Heterodont.
Dumb it down for me.
It's a good Scrabble
Okay,
word.
Albertosaurus was one of the first tyrannosaurs in the fossil record that
Uh-huh.
was shown to be heterodont, which is a big, fancy, pretentious SAT prep word
Okay.
for when an animal has multiple teeth in its mouth. Each one is shaped differently and has a different purpose.
Okay, so I was right. I wasn't crazy, but it's okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't crazy.
But anyway, since Albertosaurus is dead and all, we can't really tell what purposes its different teeth served, but we can hypothesize that they all served different purposes.
All right. That
Because,
works.
as with other large tyrannosaurs, Albertosaurus was meant to be a bone crusher. Its teeth were big and blunt and just designed to kill things right away. But its jaws weren't quite as strong as the T-Rex, but it could bite down with about over 9,000 psi. That's a 9 tigers, considering that's how we measure PSI in on this show. If you remember, a tiger is that's 1,000 PSI in terms
It's
of
the
bites,
easiest
so-
measurement, to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah.
So,
Tigers, school buses, and football fields.
Yep. Exactly. Good job, Charlie.
and the occasional Charlie.
The waving man.
Yeah.
What?
The wa-
Well, you know how, like,
they measure-
in the
yeah.
dinosaur books, you always have that little guy waving next to a
like the
dinosaur.
businessman with like a business like.
Yeah, like, why is it
briefcase.
always a guy in, like, a suit, and, like, he always has, like, that hat the Ninja Turtles
He's a
wear
busy
whenever they're
man.
trying
Fedora?
to blend? Yeah, what? It's easier if you say the hat the Ninja Turtles wear when they're trying to blend in. You know what I mean? 'Cause-
It's a marketing thing, Charlie.
Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, we're getting paid out by Paramount here, because they told me that if we start up enough revenue for them, that I could be Leatherhead in Ninja Turtles 3, so...
Ooh, tempting offer.
Well, I was going to be Casey Jones because I have the hair for it, but they went and got the guy from Arrow instead.
Stephen Amell.
So.
What a
Yeah,
guy.
and
What
like
a guy with
he had a
mouth.
buzz cut in that movie, which was weird.
Because
But
it needs it for Arrow.
yeah, well, nobody likes Arrow.
I used to like Arrow.
That's what most people say. Like
Used
yeah,
to.
Yeah, like
First two seasons,
the first couple seasons of Arrow and Flash, I hear are good, and the rest of those DC. Like
It's
I've
just
heard.
it's just
I've
CW
heard,
shows go too long.
I've heard horror stories about Supergirl. I hear it's like really, really bad.
I wish they went the Aquaman show like they're going to do. That's just my opinion.
The spin-off of Smallville.
No, it
Aquaman
wasn't a
they were gonna
spinoff.
do.
It was alternate. They released a TV
It
pilot
was the
on
same.
iTunes.
It was the same kid who played him, though.
No, it
right?
was a different guy.
Charlie knows.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Tune
Well,
into Heroes on the Horizon.
Charlie is an Aquaman stan after all, so. you know.
Stan?
Oh yeah, it's a Twitter thing. The Gen Zers are saying it means obsessive fan.
Oh. Stop it. Why are you doing? Why is your people doing this to me, Kirsten?
It's not my people.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
I'm not
It's
Gen
us
Z.
against them, Billy.
It's us
I'm not
against
Gen
them.
Z for the record. I was just born in 2000 and they're mad about
That
it.
means Gen Z.
It does not.
Go T-pose in the corner and think about your life. You were actually going to do it for a second.
No. If you would have said it again, I probably would have though.
So go T-pose
Well,
in the
now,
corner.
not,
and
not
think
now because
Well, no, go T-pose
you
in
question
the
your own
corner and-
authority. So now Gen Zs don't deal with
Stop
that.
fighting! You're
You
tearing the
question-
family apart.
Questioning your authority is the best way for Gen Z to take over.
What?
Just letting
You
y'all
know,
know.
go play with your fidget spinners and watch your Logan Paul videos. and
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You don't actually like Logan Paul,
No,
do you?
I don't
Okay,
watch the
good.
Paul brothers. I'm sorry.
That's good.
What'd you say,
Don't
Charlie?
do Fortnite, Kirsten.
No, my brother does. He's Gen Z, but I don't. I can't.
What's the age
do
difference?
those.
Like 5
6
minutes?
years.
Is it 5 minutes?
6 years? No, 5 minutes.
You
You're
know,
right.
I think he might be too young to be Gen Z. He might be Gen Durf.
Negative Z.
Say that again.
Generation Durf. I'm making.
See Generation Thanos out of the bad names.
There we
using
go.
Thanos for stuff.
I'll tell my
I'm
brother tonight.
coining that term right now. It's the generation younger than Gen Z.
Okay.
Because statistically, if Gen Z were the ones born from like 2000 to 2005, like the younger generation would have to be here by now. I mean, they're not quite at the age to come up with their own name, so I'm going to name it right now, Generation Durf.
All right. It's set in stone, guys.
Okay.
Gen Durf.
Scientific term.
Gen Durf.
Point
How do you
was
spell
made.
that?
D-E-R-F. Durf.
I'm just making sure.
It's Fred spelled backwards.
What?
Nice. Real nice.
What were we talking about on the show again? I don't remember anymore. I'm just so confused.
Are you going to make me say Durf one more time?
No, I don't. I'm trying to get the opposite of that.
Fred.
Ah.
You're way too young to remember who Fred was, okay?
I don't know who you're talking
Wait,
about.
there's so many different. You talking about Fred from Fred Flintstone? Talking about Fred from Scooby Doo?
No, the YouTube
Oh,
annoyance Fred.
I know who that
Hey,
is.
it's Fred.
You don't say that name. You're
iCarly?
gonna
Of course
suck.
I know who that is.
He actually started out on YouTube.
I
though.
know. But he's on iCarly, so that's how
Yeah, I know he was on iCarly.
Whatever happened to him?
Ran
I
away.
heard- no,
I
like,
think he like
no. I
His
I
dad was
heard
John
he
Cena.
faked his death
He,
and he
uh,
went to Finland and raised.
he sold
What am I
a,
playing?
he sold his YouTube channel to like some other company for a good sum, and now he lives a normal life. So
Good for him.
yeah.
All right.
But
sell
anyway,
your
so
channels?
I think we've had enough random tangent for
All
now.
right.
So let's
Back
get
to
back to the
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs. So our next tyrannosaur here. Ooh, I've been getting excited about this one. So this is a good one here. The Daspletosaurus.
Plesiosaurus. Okay.
Daspletosaurus.
Des or Das?
Daspletosaurus.
Daspletosaurus.
And for those of you out there who played the greatest RPG of our time, Fossil Fighters, you'll know that it was basically a Pokemon ripoff. No, weird thing. It was a Pokemon ripoff, but with dinosaurs. But it was made by Nintendo, who owns Pokemon too. So the question is, it a ripoff? It was made by this. Like, can a company rip off itself? But whatever. So anyone who played that will know
is an
that
argument that's going on right now.
Daspletosaurus was a total beast in that game. Like once you got Daspletosaurus, the rest of that game was just a cakewalk.
It's the Mewtwo of.
Anyway. No, the
Fossil
T-Rex was the
Fighters.
Mewtwo, but you couldn't get the T-Rex until after the main story. I was really sad about that. But anyway.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, the T-Rex was super broken, but whatever. I'm not here to talk about a random RPG for the DS from middle school that I'm one of 2 people on Earth who remembers. But anyway, so the name Daspletosaurus means the frightful lizard.
I kind of like that.
Makes sense because,
Good name.
in Fossil Fighters, it had the fear effect on its opponents, so...
Makes sense. Yeah.
But
Scientific.
anyway, so the frightful lizard, Daspletosaurus. Now, this was a pretty big tyrannosaur. It was 35 feet long and about 10 feet tall. And this thing lived a few million years before T-Rex, but it inhabited the same area that T-Rex did. So scientists believe this would have been the direct ancestor of T-Rex. Like, this thing directly evolved into T-Rex. So... This was like the pre-alpha T-Rex, if you will. Yeah,
okay.
the rough cut T-Rex.
Yeah, the alpha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, so Daspletosaurus is interesting because based on how their bones are preserved, we actually have a pretty good idea of how these things lived.
Okay.
And one of the more interesting things that we found about them is that they were actually cannibalistic. Because you see,
My favorite.
we found bite marks on a lot of them, where you can see like on their skulls and around their neck bones where they have bite marks that could have only been made by another Displetosaurus. And on some specimens that we found, these bites have healed over, indicating that they survived the encounter, or that it could have just been playful fighting, like dogs and cats do today. But on others, not only did these wounds not heal, but good chunks of the skeleton were missing too, indicating that it was killed and eaten.
Like cats and dogs. No, I'm just
What?
kidding. I'm just kidding.
What cats and dogs do you have?
Scary ones. Frightful ones.
Yeah, if we went over to her house, it would probably just be a couple of Komodo dragons.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what? That's
Yeah.
a dog,
You-
right? They eat
snow.
snow.
Leave me alone.
Kirsten, they're dead. You haven't fed them forever. They're so hydrated.
Yeah, we're gonna just find a couple of
Oh, you always
emaciated,
make me so mad.
Komodo dragons just hitched up to your back porch.
They're fine.
Are you okay? You look like you're about to have an aneurysm.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. I'm really
Okay,
disappointed.
It's okay. Just go play Fortnite and watch Steven Universe and calm down a little bit. We killed her.
You done did it. You can hear a ghost laughing.
Oh man, we haunted.
Oh no.
All right, Charlie.
It's your fault, Billy.
All right, Charlie. You draw the pentagram of salt on the floor, and I'll get a goat.
Cafeteria, real quick.
If a ghost is in the house, you have to give it a sacrifice to make it go away.
Wait, who are you sacrificing?
The goat.
Okay.
Oh, they said the ghost. I was like, what?
Oh, we gotta find a goat. But since we don't have any of these, I'm just gonna wrangle a goose.
There's a fake
I was
sheep in the
gonna say.
Knobview in the Ogle Center. Knobview building. You saw that? There's a sheep. This is unrelated. Never
I
mind.
haven't seen this sheep.
There's a fake
Charlie.
sheep on one of the stairwells of Knobview.
That
That
is
doesn't surprise me,
And
actually.
it perplexes me. If I don't find out why it's here before I graduate, I'm not going to graduate. I'm
no,
going
you
to
know.
stay here till I find out.
Funny story. There was one day last year. I think it was last year. Matt and I were, of course, all great stories start with Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're walking around Knobview, and don't ask why, but we had a little like cheapo plastic alligator that we got from the toy store. I think we were doing like a photography thing with it out by the lake, and it was the fakest looking pool toy rubber alligator you've ever seen in your life. And we are walking up through the computer lab at the top floor of Knobview, and this girl turns around and like jumps out of her chair and goes, "Oh my God, is that a real alligator?"
FYI, that was me. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it wasn't.
Ooh, plot twist.
Yep, it was me.
Everything's interconnected.
I would be the person to say that. It's really disappointing.
No, it's okay. We still tolerate you. But
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But anyway, so Displetosaurus were a bunch of filthy, cannibalistic jerks. So we don't associate with Displetosauruses in this house because, they eat each other. But an interesting thing, though, is that other fossil evidence suggests that these things would have had a very complex social structure and actually lived and hunted in packs. You see, we know this from bones of hadrosaurs, duck-billed dinosaurs. There have been a lot of hadrosaur bones found with Displetosaur bite marks that healed over all over their bodies. But an interesting thing is these weren't found in one particular place. These were found all over the body, indicating that it was attacked by multiple individuals at once. So Displetosaurus had a very complicated family life, but
Yeah.
Displetosaurus really needed to go see a family counselor.
You're right, but I think it's so fun. I think it's like my favorite so far. I'm not sure though. We have a lot more dinosaurs to go through.
Your family killing and eating you is fun.
No comment.
Heck yeah. Yee. All about that life.
I mean, look, Thanksgiving down in the homeland does
Oh,
get a little,
yep.
it does get
Here
a
we
little
go.
dicey sometimes, especially when Mama brings the coyotes over and.
Oh yeah. It's a bad night. Bad night.
Oh man, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
It's okay.
But anyway, so our next Tyrannosaur for the evening, a Gorgosaurus. Who doesn't love Gorgosaurus?
Oh
I
yeah.
like it.
Charlie likes it.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
You were being very facetious.
I was just looking at the watermark
Stop
on the actual
being
picture.
facetious. I don't know what that word means, but I love it.
Okay, look, forgive my pretentious vocabulary. Okay, I don't know why I'm like this.
What's the vocabulary? We just have vocab where I come from. Sorry.
No,
It's all
I
good.
mean,
Charlie.
look,
Gorgosaurus.
up until I was in 8th grade, my math was just called math. So, I understand being stupid in middle school. So
In middle school, other than that, doesn't happen.
It's too hard. Ho.
No, I was pretty stupid in high school. No, I got good grades in high school. It was just I acted really stupid.
I was just happy to be there.
Anyway,
Happy they didn't kick me out.
Anyway, Gorgosaurus. So this is another pretty big tyrannosaur, about 30 feet long and 10 feet tall. Pretty standard size for these things.
Okay.
But anyway, its name means the dreadful lizard.
I like it.
Not a bad one.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I mean,
do
it's
like
pretty
that one.
edgy. I
Not bad.
wonder if Albertosaur or Gorgosaurus probably hosted a metal radio show. But anyway, so interesting thing though about Albertus or Gorgosaurus when compared to other tyrannosaurs about its size is we talked about Daspletosaurus and reel it back in,
Go ahead.
boys.
Go ahead.
Reel it back in.
Go ahead, we're fine.
But anyway, we talked about Daspletosaurus and Albertosaurus a minute ago, and how their teeth were more blunt for crushing bone, much like T-Rex. But a weird thing is how this was a pretty big characteristic of large tyrannosaurs. Gorgosaurus didn't exactly play like that. It had fewer teeth in its mouth than other large tyrannosaurs, and on top of that, they were also really sharp. Like this thing was meant to rip and tear as opposed to crush like its big brothers. I wanted to come up with a better name because like there would have been female ones too, but it's
okay.
it's brethren. Let's say that it's brethren.
Brethren.
Ooh.
I like that.
I
It's
like
comrades.
I like brethren.
Two
better.
communists.
Brethren.
This
was
is
good.
America.
I spent 20 years in Gulag, Charles. Nice.
I wasn't expecting that. That's good. That was a
dies, he
good. That was a good
dies.
impression.
Oh man, when I was in high school, I used to do that one all the time. People thought it was so funny.
Glass clown over here.
Nah, not really. I was more the guy they came to when they wanted to forget about how much they hated their lives.
All right, the counselor.
Let's talk dinosaurs.
No, they were just like, Billy, I hate myself. Tell me a Russian joke.
That works.
But anyway.
Love that humor.
It's great.
But another thing, though, is that Albertosaurus was also a lot more light on its feet than other large tyrannosaurs. So between this and the teeth, this is interesting because physically this thing was a smaller tyrannosaur, but as big as some of the bigger ones.
Okay.
So it would have been big, but it also would have been able to run pretty fast and would have been able to make those big bleeding wounds with its teeth, as opposed to messing around with breaking bones and whatnot. So Gorgosaurus, they all bleed together, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Gorgosaurus is a pretty scary creature with a pretty terrifying name. I mean, the dreadful lizard. That probably didn't sound very good on its Tinder profile, you know? What?
Good joke. Good joke.
Why are you being so mean to him?
Yeah, why are you being so mean? I'm the Dino
I'm not.
Master. I'm the Dino Master, okay? Don't make me fire you again.
Go for it.
I don't like that attitude, lady.
Here's my pink
Young
slip.
lady.
I'm
Pink
giving you my pink slip.
What?
Charlie, please escort her off the premises.
All right, bye guys.
Click clock. I need to come with me, man.
What was that supposed to be?
I don't know. I was like, I need a sound for something. Like, click clock. Why
clock.
not?
What is
I
that?
got a clock. On
What
the
is that?
side.
Were you bringing in a horse? Like,
Clip clop. That's clip clop, not click clop.
okay, whatever. I don't know my horse onomatopoeias.
Hi-ho, silver.
So,
Onomatopoeia is a very fancy word.
Means a noise, like bang.
look,
pop.
No.
we've all taken high school English. We all know what that means.
Real quick,
Yeah.
what do you use a semicolon for actually? Honestly,
Honestly, I
never
really
learned.
don't know.
What I know what
don't-
onomatopoeia is. What's a semicolon used for?
You know, I don't know. Just
I use it all the time.
if you know
Auto-
on Twitter, tweet at us. Please. I need to
autocorrect.
know.
Autocorrect usually just puts a semicolon in for me.
I know it means and. That's all I know.
It doesn't say and.
Don't ask me questions.
Yeah, if you're out there right now and you're listening, please just
English majors.
Tell
Calling
us-
all English majors.
yeah.
People who know things about English.
Yes.
People who actually remember high school English.
Yes. Please.
What's a
Thank you.
semicolon?
What's a vocabulary? How do you read?
Billy, if y'all don't
Next
know,
show,
he
How Do
didn't
You
graduate
Read?
high
Starring
school.
Billy Reed.
Yeah, Charlie, can you?
That was good.
Butterfly in the sky.
Well, you know, in honor of Kanye West's daughter North, I'm gonna name my first child I Can't.
Hey, I like that. I can go twice as high.
Y'all are a hoot and holler.
Well, you know what?
Look.
Hoot and holler.
You know, Drake
It's
Bell
a
from
book.
Drake and Josh, you're probably too young to remember him.
Breeding
But
rain.
he said in
made
honor
me
of
so
Kanye West's daughter, Northwest, he was going to name his first kid Taco.
Bell.
I did see
Hey!
that tweet.
Yeah.
I did see
I
that
like
tweet.
it.
I love Drake and Josh. Don't talk to me like that.
Oh,
like
yeah?
me a
What was the name
Taco.
of the orangutan that they adopted
Oh
in that
God,
one
I
episode?
don't know. I was like 7. Leave me alone.
Stop fighting. You're tearing the family apart.
What was the name of the psychotic dog in the episode where they had to house sit for the teacher?
Yeah, Charlie, what is it?
I don't even know. I didn't have cable. I'm sorry. I had PBS Kids.
It was,
I watched Reading Rainbow.
Okay.
Mr. Rogers.
And
And Arthur.
In case you intellectuals out there are wondering, the orangutan was Bobo and the dog was Tiberius. But
I'm sorry. I had an okay childhood.
I'm sorry too. I didn't know. I didn't.
we broke
brush up.
Charlie.
Are you okay? You okay, man?
Great, I've killed both of
No
you.
thanks to you all.
Great, now Charlie's ghost is running around here too, and we don't have anything left to sacrifice.
All right, Billy.
Okay, so anyway, can we
You're
please
feeling
move
really
on?
like, oh yeah, Billy, let's do him.
Can we please move on?
yes, sorry guys, sorry.
Okay, so anyway, our next tyrannosaur for the evening is the Eutyrannus. Now, this is a pretty big tyrannosaur from over in China. It's actually split off from the family that Guanlong came from. You can even kind of see that in the picture. It kind of just looks like a bigger, more stockier Guanlong. And this thing's name means the feathered tyrant.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
It's on the
Okay.
nose, but anyway, it is a pretty big one. It's 24 feet long and about 10 feet tall.
All right.
Now, much like the Guanlong, it had pretty long arms with 3 fingers.
Those fingers are
which-
gnarly. Just in the
Well,
picture.
it's pretty uncharacteristic of large tyrannosaurs to
Yeah.
have 3 fingers, but this was a pretty early species, so we can. What are you even doing?
looks
It was
like.
intimidating. She made the fake fingers are like,
Is that a gang symbol? I don't even know what that is.
it's not okay,
No,
Kirsten.
it's
This is a family show.
what
I
it
feel
looks like.
attacked.
This is a family show.
All right, put the fingers away. Put the fingers away.
But
going,
anyway,
Billy,
because
please.
we actually do have a couple of specimens of a baby Eutyrannus, we know that just like with T-Rex, its arms would have gotten smaller as it got older. So it would have been a really awkward-looking baby with giant gorilla Hulk
Just
arms.
thick.
Is it because
Walks on
is it
sniffles.
because it's more like blood towards another like set of limbs? That's why they're so short, like evolutionary.
I mean, we really
wise?
we don't have any way to know that really, considering they're extinct and all. So.
Could be like maybe more fat, as like you got bigger arms, just like recede into its fat body, like.
Well, and when they're younger, their mouth is a lot smaller too, so they need another tool to help them kill things with.
That's true.
As they get bigger,
It would be
they-
really hard to just eat with your mouth.
I
well,
do
I
it all
mean,
the time.
For, I mean, for them
It's
to
called
be
a
a little.
sandwich.
No, but you have to have your hands to hold the sandwich. Do you understand my point? You don't have hands to hold fork. You don't have hands to hold utensils. Just pointing that out there. Sorry.
How do you think the cavemen ate?
Yeah, they didn't have hands back then. Hands were invented.
Listen, let me tell you about the pioneers, okay?
All right, go for
Like
it.
the pioneers, they'd hop on a rock, they'd ride that
God.
baby for miles. Hey, you want to see how the pioneers hitchhiked?
I get
It
that
was-
reference.
No, you don't.
Krusty Krab pizza.
Is the pizza for you,
You and me.
Krusty
Add that
Krab pizza.
I would download that song in like a millisecond.
We add that to our radio show and just do like a SpongeBob day, just SpongeBob songs.
Well, I mean, Sweet Victory is going to be in the Super Bowl next week, so
Please.
you know. Maroon 5, listen, Maroon 5, because your lead singer I can't stand because, you know, you're the Levine I don't care about. But
I'm
If-
fine with that actually.
if you go out there and sing Sweet Victory next week, I will change my opinion on you. So
I'll start
yeah.
a radio show about if you sing that. Not really though.
It's out there. You heard it here.
I like
Charlie,
I like Maroon
you got a
5.
problem with Maroon 5, Charlie?
Yeah,
I
Charlie.
like Maroon 5. I feel like they're that band that they're always like in the top charts, but never number one. You know, they're just like they're always gonna be popular, but never like the most popular.
Yeah, and you ever notice that, like, people forget about them until every couple years when they drop a new song, and all of a sudden they're popular again.
Poor Maroon
Wow.
5.
He does too much falsetto. I
Now
think.
Maroon 5 fans are coming.
Yeah, I know. Charlie, you just
We're
got
just
all
making
I
it-
the...
we're
can't
making
handle
it-
one person, you know.
When we walk out of here tonight, there's just going to be a giant
Just a
line of
mob.
people, like, where's Charlie? But anyway, so Eutyrannus. Interesting thing about it is that this is also the largest carnivore ever to
Ever?
have feathers.
Really?
Oh, feathers.
No,
Okay.
to have feathers.
really
Spinosaurus is the
excited.
largest carnivore ever, but
really excited.
it's the largest carnivore ever to have been known to have feathers. Because you see, it would have lived in northern China back in the Cretaceous period,
Mm-hmm.
so which was pretty cold. There was a lot of snow and ice back then in northern China. There might still be. I don't know. Any fans out there in northern China, please tell me if there's a large influx of. Charlie, what are you doing?
What's happening?
I'm sorry. Keep going. We're getting distracted here.
But anyway, it was believed that it had a lot of feathers all over its body to keep it warm in the harsh conditions.
All right.
Cool.
So there's that. So anyway, next up here we have for all you Disney World fans out there, this is a dinosaur whose one claim to fame in pop culture is being on the ride Dinosaur at Disney's Animal Kingdom, where it can be seen eating a crocodile. This is the Alioramus.
Wow.
Alioramus?
Alioramus.
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 Okay.
So anyway, this is a pretty small tyrannosaur. It would have lived in China and Mongolia, out in the deserts of the mid-Cretaceous period. It lived that desert life, you know.
Yeah.
Only the realest of ones can live the desert life.
This is
You're
the
right.
root sandstorm out there.
Like there's swamp life. There's a lot of lives. Okay, there's swamp life, jungle life, ranch life. You
Ranch.
gotta-
Yeah, ranch life's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
but like desert life.
That's the realest.
Desert life is the realest of the real. Okay.
Okay.
It takes special breed
Takes guts.
to power through desert life. So anyway, Alioramus is pretty small as far as tyrannosaurs go, coming in at 16 feet long and about 6 feet tall. So not even as big as the biggest raptors, this one. So it's pretty lightly built and has a very narrow skull. Studies also indicate that it would have been very light on its feet. So this indicates that this thing was a lot more built for speed.
Looks
It's-
like it. Oh, sorry.
A lot more aerodynamic. Charlie, how dare you speak out of
You had to
turn?
pause. I was like, oh, did you want to say something? I'll say
How
something.
dare you speak out of turn, Charlie?
I like how lean and cool he looks. I feel like just like you don't see him coming before he gets you.
He's a cool guy. Fast too. He'd be a good track runner.
It's got good
He's
looks.
freaky fast.
Yeah.
He worked for the Cretaceous Jimmy John's, actually.
I hope
That
so.
is, that is
serving
Jimmy.
serving up stale sandwiches and really mushy pickles.
Ooh.
Jimmy John's is better than Subway, and I worked at a Subway, so
Oh, you
It's
worked
just
at you worked fast food too, Charlie? I'm
Yeah.
really sorry. I used
Never
to work,
doing it again.
I used to work at Zaxby's and it was hell on earth.
I've never worked at fast food. Thank God. I'm very
Zaxby's
blessed.
indeed.
Zaxby's was terrible. The Zaxby's I worked at actually shut down.
I feel like everyone should work either retail or fast food at least once in their lives. Like, it's a good
Yeah.
experience to get. Neither.
Nope. Customer service though.
Okay.
I know.
You entitled Gen Zers coming in here.
I knew that was going to be a point that you make, but it's okay. I
But
forgive you.
anyway, Alioramus lived in an environment with a lot of dinosaurs much bigger than itself, one of which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. So it's very likely that it would have hunted in packs to be able to properly hunt down prey.
All right.
So our next Tyrannosaur here, we're almost out of time, so we've got to go like
We're
lightning
speeding.
round.
Gotta go fast.
So-
Scenic.
Gotta go fast, son. Gotta go
Faster,
faster.
You won't believe me,
Sonic
but I
X.
love that show.
You gotta do the drums at the end.
What a good show.
I know you
man.
don't believe me, but I love that show, and I have every single season on DVD.
I believe you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Loan me some of those, okay? The
just do Let's Talk Dinosaur or, like, Sonic X
First
episode?
2 seasons of Sonic X were good. The third one, where they went into space, was like
Even better.
Weird. It was,
was
angsty.
edgy.
And
Yeah, it was really
they,
edgy.
They made Tails like emo, and I don't know. I mean, Shadow was cool.
I
in
lost
that
the
season,
plot.
though.
Shadow was the
Shadow
best.
was the. Yeah, thank you.
Shadow's just so cool. Like I wish I was as cool as Shadow the Hedgehog.
I
But
know, me too.
anyway, our next one here, the Zhucheng Tyrannus.
Ooh, okay,
So
mouthful.
the name means Zhucheng Tyrant. I think that's
Okay.
it's either named after the place in China it was found or a person who discovered it. That's
Or
the
a river.
name,
Right.
or a
Right,
river or a place or something like that. I don't really
Person,
know.
place, or thing. Those are nouns.
Yes, Zhucheng Tyrannus confirmed is a noun.
Woo!
Everyone,
Thanks, Schoolhouse Rock.
like Christmas is saved. The government is reopened. All right, now that we all know Zhucheng Tyrannus is a noun. Like,
job,
I'd
Charlie.
imagine right now
Good
somebody
job, Charlie.
just ran into our president's office and was just like, "Sir, Zhucheng Tyrannus is a noun." It's like, "Oh, this changes everything. We're reopening the government. And
Is
then
that your
there we
It's
go.
like Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I know. My Trump
Adrian.
my Trump impression sounds like Sylvester Stallone. We'll talk about that later.
That's funny.
But anyway, Zhucheng tyrannus was one of the largest tyrannosaurs. This thing comes in at 40 feet long and 12 feet tall, so it was almost as big as T-Rex.
Very big boy.
And it shared its environment with a lot of armored herbivores, just like T-Rex did. The ceratopsians that we talked about last week,
Tough.
as well as a lot of ankylosaurs, which are the big spiky dudes. The thing in Jurassic World that got its head bitten off.
Oh, okay.
They were
Same.
they were discovered within its direct vicinity, which leads us to believe that they would have shared an environment together. Mm-hmm. And interesting thing is where Alioramus was a real man and could live desert life, Zhucheng tyrannus, based on fossil sediments and other creatures that were found near it, is believed to have lived in a swampy environment.
So he's Cajun.
Sure.
So not only is Zhucheng tyrannus a noun, but we're going to get the government super reopened here. Zhucheng
I'm so
tyrannus.
excited. Charlie, you're the bomb, man.
Zhucheng tyrannus was living swamp life.
He sure was.
Totally.
Oh, he's texting back the FBI.
What was... Okay, Charlie, I don't even want to know. But
I'm having lasagna for dinner. I was saying, okay, that's awesome. Thank you for getting to my personal life, Billy.
Charlie is also Garfield confirmed.
I ate Mondays, Jim.
John.
John.
Everyone knows Garfield's owner's
It was
name
like,
is
I said
John.
Jeff, I think. Like
You said Jim.
John and Jim.
Thought he said Jeff, but you know.
I thought he
whatever.
said Jim. Whatever.
Well, it's the word, John.
We'll listen
It
to
starts
it
with
on
a
the
J, it's
yeah,
okay.
whatever. We'll listen to it on the playback and whatnot. But anyway, let's get into our final tyrannosaur for the evening, the Tarbosaurus.
Ooh.
Now, this thing's name means alarming lizard.
I actually kind of like that.
Well, I mean, it is pretty alarming. You see, it was the second largest of the tyrannosaurs, second only to T-Rex.
Wow,
It
okay.
comes in at 43 feet long and 13 feet tall. Its skull is about 4 feet long, so its head's not as big as T-Rex, but this thing can just about stand eye to eye with T-Rex.
Ooh.
As a matter
That's
of
a scary
fact,
thought.
well,
Okay.
it's almost a complete carbon copy. Scientists have been debating for a long time as to whether or not Tarbosaurus is its own thing, or whether or not it should just be considered a subspecies of T-Rex. This isn't like a Nanotyrannus situation where they think it is just a T-Rex. They think there are definitely enough differences where it can be its own thing,
Okay.
but it's debated as to whether or not it could actually be a T-Rex, or if it's just, or it's a subspecies of T-Rex, or if it's just its
It's like
own
red
thing.
squirrels and gray squirrels.
Exactly.
Okay.
You got it on the nose, man.
Charlie with his nerd speak.
Squirrels
But,
are nerdy? Okay.
Has did you say squirrels?
I said squirrels, like
I
red
thought you
squirrels
said
and gray squirrels.
scrolls, like Marvel
No,
scrolls.
no,
Oh,
he said
gosh, no.
squirrels.
Please.
Sorry, Charlie. My
squirrels.
bad. My bad.
Squirrels,
Are
nerd.
My bad. My bad. My bad. I thought it was a tie-in with your superhero show. My mistake. But anyway,
Should've been.
as our loyal Twitter, I was gonna say loyal Twitter, but I kind of combined
okay.
them.
It's
Our
okay.
loyal Twitter follower Angus just reminded me of this analogy. The Tarbosaurus is basically the Pepsi to the T-Rex's Coca-Cola.
Ooh.
rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
it
Thank you for
lived
that. It
in-
makes more sense.
It lived a few million years before T-Rex, so it wasn't
So it
quite
was
quite
it the,
there.
Was it the big boy of that time?
It was
of its
very
time?
much the big boy.
All
of its
right.
day. It was a lot more lightly built than T-Rex, so it could have ran down prey a little bit faster than T-Rex could have.
Beat
And
that.
just like T-Rex, it had the bone-crushing jaws that we all know and love. But it shared its environment with a few notable dinosaurs that it likely would have fed on. We got velociraptors that lived in the same environment as Tarbosaurus. It also lived in the same environment as Alioramus that we talked about a minute ago. So Tarbosaurus, much like Alioramus before it, was living desert life.
All right.
I'm liking it.
I love it.
But it would have lived with velociraptors. Obviously, they wouldn't have posed much of a threat because velociraptors are, tiny. So, they would have just been like peanuts to this thing, Like,
Is it more of a threat, like in terms of food in the area, or is it like a physical threat?
what, velociraptors?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could be some sort of competition for food, but probably not really because push comes to shove, it could just eat them.
True.
But,
Yeah, you're right.
The
Oh,
big
you
one,
eat
though,
so
that,
many, though.
The big one, though, that Tarbosaurus probably would have fed on a lot is a dinosaur called Therizinosaurus. Now, this
Mouthful.
thing is I'd like to talk about it someday. It's a very weird dinosaur. You see, it has a very long neck. It's got a really fat, stubby body, but its big claim to fame is that it's got these giant 3-foot-long Wolverine claws.
wow.
So Tarbosaurus would have had its work cut out for it. But at the end of the day, when you've got giant bone-crushing T-Rex jaws, I don't think a few Wolverine claws would have been that big of an issue.
As long as you can get past
Predators don't stand a
those.
chance.
Well, and another family that Tarbosaurs would have lived alongside were the Titanosaurs, which were a colossal family of sauropods.
I loved those.
The long-necked dinosaurs.
Those are the last ones that we talked about last week, right?
No.
We talked about
Titanosaurs.
ceratopsians. Titanoceratops is what we
Thank
talked
you.
about last week.
Wow, I don't know why. I'm so sorry.
No, Charlie, we didn't talk about Taurosaurus.
My apologies.
Taurosaurus is the Nanotyrannus of ceratopsians. Really political. Some people think it's just a different Triceratops or something. I don't. Look, a lot of dinosaurs are political these days in terms of like, oh, sure,
Everything is
are they
political.
their own species or are they just a baby? I don't know, ostrich. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Ostrich. They're all just ostriches.
Charlie knows all about ostriches. So anyway,
Tweet.
Okay, I guess I do, apparently.
Ostrich
Okay.
information.
Charlie is a world-renowned ornithologist.
He is.
I'll have you know. That's a bird
right.
scientist, in case you were wondering.
I'm
Birds
glad
can
you
fly.
confirmed that because I was like, yeah. Totally, but I didn't know what
anyway,
you're talking about.
so considering it had dinosaurs like this in its area, Tarbosaurus, like other tyrannosaurs, more than likely would have hunted in packs as well.
Okay.
So Tarbosaurus might just be the T-Rex's Smash Brothers Echo Fighter, but it's still a pretty cool dinosaur, and it's kind of cool to see how a creature like this can be a complete carbon copy of the T-Rex, but still be considered its own thing. So
Yeah.
the Tyrannosaurs are just really cool. So
They're really cool.
That concludes our two-parter on the Ceratopsians and the Tyrannosaurs.
All right.
I hope you guys join
Lot.
us next week because I decided that since next week is the week of the Super Bowl, I figure we might as well have a good old-fashioned head-to-head Ice Age dinosaur fight
Ding,
night.
ding, ding,
So,
ding.
Yes, please join
got
us
loud.
next week for Fight Night Round 2. We're going to be putting dinosaurs
This
up
is so
against
exciting.
Ice Age mammals.
This was my idea.
This is going to
I
be...
know. I'm so proud of you, Charlie. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, this is Charlie's idea.
This was Charlie's
you.
idea.
my
I wanted to
baby.
do an Ice Age episode this season anyway, but honestly, Ice Age mammals just kind of bore me a little bit. So they all talk like Ray Romano, and they make a bunch of stupid sequels where they hang out with pirates and stuff. Okay, no,
And dinosaurs.
the dinosaur one was weird too.
That was a good movie.
Charlie,
Charlie firing you?
Charlie, I'm your boss.
The power is derived from the people.
Okay, that's it, Charlie. Go stand in the corner and T-pose. You've been demoted to Gen Z.
You think I won't?
Go T-pose, Charlie. Go do it. Hold that pose, Charlie. We're taking.
Yeah, hold
this
the
is
pose.
going on our Instagram.
He just took a really deep breath in. He's trying to hold the weight of his arms.
But anyway, as always, you can follow our social medias. We're at Let's Talk Dinos on Twitter and at Let's Talk Dinosaurs on Instagram.
Go like that photo of Charlie.
Yes,
Keep
please
voting.
do. Charlie, would you like to plug your show?
I have a show on Saturdays at 11 o'clock, I think, where we talk about Heroes on the Horizon. We're talking about the new X movies. It's going to be wild. Listen in. Please do that. We love you guys.
All right.
I'm Charlie, by the way.
So, as always, I am Billy Reed.
I am Kirsten Phrase.
And I'm Charlie. Again.